Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be going for a glute and hamstring session. I know for a lot of people, glutes, and especially guys, it's something that they don't train. It's one of those muscle groups which is like, what the fuck is he doing over there? I know for when I've ever been doing hip thrusts in the gym, I've always had more questions than when I've been doing bicep curls. I know for a lot of guys, it's not something they necessarily deem as an essential as part of their weekly sessions. However, I've noticed it dramatically increased my deadlift, my squat, and my stabilisation when I'm doing things like overhead press. I do not claim to be a glute guru, but since I've been doing my research, I've been training a lot more with Lucy, been including glute sessions. This is what I found works best for me. I don't do glute specific sessions. I usually include it in one of my leg sessions, so I tend to split up my week quad focused, hamstring and glute focused, doing the hamstring session first because it's one of my weaker points. So let's go and grab my training partner. Oh, hello. Little training partner, little gluteus maximus.
I don't think you're ready for this session. You think, see, Ben doesn't train glutes that often. It's one of the things where guys obviously have to train glutes because it is meant to be the strongest muscle in the body, and
I've been training for the last kind of like 6 to 12 months. I've been introducing it more, and it's massively increased. I was saying just before, deadlift, squat, and some of the stabilising groups.
Really. But yeah, I don't think you're ready for this session because I think I'm going to find this session a big struggle. It's okay.
Look at that cat booty.
You know how she comes back in soaking and I have to dry with the bloody, whatever this is called. There you go. Yay. It's like a dog.
Well, she's not like a dog.
Well, Dizzy, come and do it. Dizzy! Dizzy! Come here. I just made her do a trick.
I'll do that for peanut butter. Oh, my face is looking rather rosy there. Woo! What you gonna do?
Look how matchy
we are very matchy today.
Adorable.
With the, what would you call this that was? Aqua?
Aqua, yeah.
Aqua. The Aquaman in action today. Good day. And today my pre-workout of choice is nothing but my favourite. Getting that blue Monster game in. I don't usually have the Monster before because sometimes it makes me a little bit bloated, but I feel like today I can kind of get away with it. Yeah, but you've taken the bulk powders, want to get, haven't you?
Yeah, again, I don't usually have pre-workout, but we've been taking it recently and it's not bloody bad, is it? It gets you, it does get you fired up for your session, but would definitely not recommend taking it like,
no, I don't like having it
every single session because I think you come quite used to it and then it just wouldn't work.
That's why I'm having a Monster today, just to kind of fill me up a little bit, give me a small kick. It's got like 200 to 220 milligrams of caffeine in, with all the beta-alanine hit on the spike. So we'll chug this down. I get me a pre-workout chewy in, and then we can switch in to a big fat glute session. Just before we jump into the workout itself, I want to have a quick look at glute anatomy, and this is what an arse looks like. Well, this is what my other half's arse looks like anyway, but really this is the anatomy of the glute. So the three main muscles of the glutes that we're going to be looking at is the minimus, the one which is not necessary, but it's the smallest part of the glute, so we're not really going to focus on today. We've got the medius, which is the stabilizer, and the abductor. And then of course we've got the maximus, which is going to be our main focus today, which covers the largest area of the glute and it creates that shelf looking effect, i.e. that Nicki Minaj beauty. Because the glutes have so many insertion points, they can perform a lot of different functions, so make sure that you're training them with variety. So now we have got the lovely Lucy doing some glute activation work, and she's starting off doing some glute bridges with a band. So this is going to be great for getting that mind muscle connection going. I think what a lot of people struggle with is feeling the glutes while to train them. So firstly, by doing some pre-activation work, it's going to help with that mind muscle connection, and it's also going to help force some blood supply into the glute itself, which makes it a little bit easier again when it comes to getting that mind muscle connection, i.e. feeling the pump through the booty. So Lucy's just been doing some glute bridges, some abduction work, and I'm going into doing some quadruped hip extensions, which again is great for forcing that blood supply into the glutes themselves. Next, you will see me doing some fire hydrants. This is going to look a little bit like your dog taking a piss. Not going to beat around the bush. Doesn't look like the most sexy exercise, but it's great for hitting those abductors, and it's great again for firing up the glutes before we get into the initial workout. We're going to be starting our glute workout with the daddy of glute exercises. Of course, the hip thrusts, the creme de la creme. So I've taken a lot of my learning so far from, of course, this little one, Lucy Davis. and of course the glute guru, who is Brett Contreras. So if you need any more information or any more glute workouts, please check out their accounts, which I'll drop below for more information. But just some key points to take away from doing hip thrusts, which may help when you come into setting up next time or completing the exercises, so you can feel it a little bit more through the glutes. Now if I just pause this around here, you can see firstly where my foot position is. So firstly, if your feet are too far in front of you, you're going to feel it far too much through the hamstring. If they're too close, you're going to feel it more through the quad. So you need to find that center point for yourself where the shins are parallel to the floor, and when you drive through and hip thrust up, you're going to feel a lot more through the glutes. One of the other common mistakes, which I also see, is the head position. So as you can see here, I look like Jabba Hutt because I've got my chin tucked right down into my neck. Of course, that helps a lot more with keeping that position when it comes to thrusting the hips right through. So that's also going to help get that full pelvic tilt. And we want to also increase the range of motion, so get those hips all the way through and be pretending like we're tucking that tailbone up and under as we go through. So this will really help activate the glutes a lot more, and you get a lot better range of motion as we go through it. If you always look at it as getting the extra inch, I'm sure guys you'll know what I'm talking about here. Next, I'm just going to quickly run through the single leg hip thrust, which is a great alternative or a great accessory exercise that you can throw in your glute workout. It's a very good stabilizer, if so not better than the barbell hip thrust, just for hitting individual work. So I do a lot of unilateral work. So for you girls or guys who've got that odd shaped booty or one side's a little bit bigger than the other, unilateral work is great for working those individual sides. It's going to bring a lot more medius activity into it as well, and also you're going to get a lot better mind muscle connection if you can focus on one side at a time. You will also be able to do a lot higher volume work, so you'll be incorporating more of the slow twitch type 1 muscle fibers in there as well, so you're hitting both sides of the coin. And also if you don't want those nasty big bruises at the top of your hips or on the bone, because no one likes that barbell grind against the bone, do they, whilst doing hip thrust. This is also going to help if you get any hip pain whilst completing the hip thrust also. Now as you can see, it does get really hard, which means at the end, bye bye goes the plate. Now, although a lot of time dumbbell step-ups may be seen as a quad-focused exercise, if you plant your foot in the right positions and you move properly through this exercise, you'll feel it tear the glutes up, and especially the next morning. So with this one, make sure I'm going to give you these next 3 tips and you follow them as close as you can. So first one is going to be foot planting. Make sure you've got your full foot on the bench and you're driving up from your heel. Make sure, as you can see here, I'm planting my foot and then stepping into the movement and getting my body over the knee. And the other thing is going to be grip. So for example, if you struggle with your grip strength giving out before your quads or your glutes do, maybe switch up this exercise and use a barbell, or even if you need to use some wrist straps as well, it'll just stop you from your forearms pre-exhausting before your glutes and quads do, and you'll never really get to that failure point which we're looking for in order to force some stimulation and growth through the quads. I've also decided here just to hit the legs alternatively, in terms of I'll go right leg, left leg, left leg, a bit like a march. If you prefer to do all your reps on right leg and then all your reps on the left leg, that's completely up to you. I just like to do it like this because I feel like if I do my right leg first, I've used a lot of energy before it goes into my left leg. So switch it up, see how it feels, see what floats your boat. Now the next exercise we're going to be hitting is a superset. So lots of volume here, there's going to be a lot of blood supply, and you're going to be feeling that nice big pump through the glutes, but also through the quads and hamstrings as well. So with the sumo squats, the first thing I'm going to highlight is keeping your toes pointing out, as you can see I'm doing here. Also keep a nice wide stance. This is going to help incorporate a lot more of the glute and hamstrings and take it off the quad. What I like you to imagine here is if you ever go to like a toilet somewhere else, like Costa Coffee or whatever, somewhere in a different country, a foreign toilet, when you sit down you don't want to put your full arse on the toilet and you're tipping your booty out just about to sit on the edge of the seat. Imagine you're doing that with sumo squats. Bit of an odd thing to think about whilst you're doing squats, but trust me, you'll feel a lot more for your glutes, and you want to be firing those hips through the top and squeezing the glutes through. Quick pause and then back down again. Now we're also going to be looking at depth here. Only go down to what's comfortable for you before then going into our deadlift. So straight away I'm picking up a box, sliding into where it's comfortable for me, and then foot position. Whenever I'm doing an RDL, I always try and think of where my most powerful point would be, and that would be where you jump from. So feet position doesn't have to be shoulder width apart, it'd be wherever you do a standing jump from. Now with this, we always want to remember, it's what I always push down clients' throats and they probably get sick of it, is this is a hip hinge movement. So we're not looking to bend down into a squat. So imagine just sticking your arse right out as far back as you can and letting the chest then drop down to the bar. Now, with this being more of a hamstring focused exercise, it's not going to be the biggest glute builder ever. However, because it is where our insertion point is, it's going to be great for that glute hamstring tie-in as well. But it's also going to be great when it comes to guys or girls when you're doing your deadlift or when you're doing your squat. It's going to be great for helping the power through those movements when it comes back into doing them as well. The 45-degree hypers, or GHDs as they're commonly known as, you may sort of think it is more of a lower back exercise, and you'd be right. But if you focus on these key elements that I'm about to give you now, they'll help it be a lot more glute focused. So what you really want to do is, as you can see here, over-exaggerate that arch in the lower back. That'll just help the emphasis be a little bit more on the glutes rather than the lower back. Keep that head down the whole time, keep looking at the floor if you can. You also want to have a slight bend in your knees and also flare your feet out to that 45-degree angle, hence the exercise name selection of 45-degree hypers. Now, just before we finish off, we're going to be tailing off our glute workout with some hip abduction finishes. So these are going to be a little bit more high rep range. We're going to be doing 2 sets of 20 reps, and these are what are usually called or referred to as a burnout or pumper set. And the reason why is because they help with the metabolic stress that you're going to put through your glutes. Now, both guys and girls, this is going to be great exercise for if you struggle with your stabilizers. So for example, when you're doing squats or deadlifts, if you get any pain through the hips, this is going to be great for targeting more of the medius part of the glute, which again is part of what is going to stabilize those movements such as the squat and the deadlift. If you haven't got a band, do not worry. Try and grab a 5 kg or a 10 kg plate and rep out a good 20 to 30 reps either side. Tough workout.
Thanks to me.
I'm going to finish off with it now just for a bit of fun. I'm going to do 100 pull-ups, but I don't usually do as much glute workout as I do in one. Well, I don't one session, so I usually mix it with hamstrings, but doing hip thrusters and compound movements, something especially over winter, I'm looking to incorporate more in, because if you think about your deadlift when you're driving through, or when you're squat coming up the floor, getting those hip through, so in terms of nice, strong, powerful glute, when you pour jelly and set, that's what it feels like.
That's what your glutes feel like, yeah.
That's strange.
Filled with blood.
Yeah. Feels nice. When I sit down.
It's like a cushion.
So just before we all sign off, the ebook that I spoke about in the shoulder video, that is now live. So not only can you download it for free, you can start now. So the female ebook Lucy's done, which will be
hello.
It's going to include lots of those exercises, probably quite a lot of movements in this workout really, isn't it?
Yeah, mine's obviously a glute building and fat burning workout, so yeah, get in your shape.
For the guys, the male ebook is going to be a 6-week muscle builder, which is, and you can download that for now free. I'll drop the link below, and if you want to subscribe to start with the 6-week challenge, it's $5.99 per month. Jump on it. Me and Luke's going to be coaching the guys and girls in the Facebook group, but apart from that, I will see you in the next video. Please do a big thumbs up if you like and enjoy the video, and I'll see you next time.